Welcome and thanks for stopping by and joining me for today, our Advent reflection for this second week of Advent, Tuesday, December 6th. You know, this may be a little different from most of the reflections we're getting used to. For today, I don't know that I really have a deeply theological thought or some pithy commentary to offer. Rather, it's just something I've been thinking about, something that I read a few weeks ago. I've been wondering more and more about what it would have taken for Joseph and Mary to make that trek from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Sometimes walking, maybe sometimes riding on the back of a donkey, but doing so all while 9 months pregnant. The shortest distance is said to be about 70 miles. 70 miles through sometimes steep and rocky and always dangerous terrain. Joseph could have and perhaps did take a little less dangerous route, but that would have added days, if not weeks, to their trek. Although it would have let them bypass Samaria, the land filled with plenty of folks who did not exactly love the Jews. I'm one to think that Joseph, even knowing the extra danger he might be putting Mary and the unborn child in, he would have opted to take a shorter route, looking to minimize the time that Mary would have had to endure the rigors of such a trip, even as it meant running into a band of Samaritan bandits. Now, logic and historical writings tell us that a day's journey, really not that much differently than today, would have meant bedding down for one night where one could find shelter and provisions for their family. And so a single day's walking was usually measured from one oasis or one well to the next. And hopefully they could find some water and a spot to bed down under a tree that night. One of the more famous places we know is Jacob's Well, which is smack dab in Samaria. The well that history tells us was hand dug by Jacob himself, 105 feet through solid rock, to provide cool and safe drinking water not only for his family and flock, but for those of generations to follow. And so after a long and dusty day, Joseph very likely brought his wife a cool cup of water from Jacob's well, and the Christ child, safely within his mother's womb, perhaps felt that cool water enter into her body, sustaining even his life itself. Who knew then that 33 years later, that child, this time on his way to Jerusalem to be crucified, would stand at the same well and ask the Samaritan woman to once more allow for him to drink this life-giving water. This time in return, he's really offering her and us eternal life itself. Isn't it curious how we never really know who we're meeting along our journey through this life? And that has me pondering today. Who is it that I may have met and not recognized? How would my life been changed simply by a different greeting or an act or word of kindness? Where have I turned my back on Jesus as he simply asked me for a cool drink of water, as he asked me to offer him something from my own heart in exchange for eternal life?